Hi, I'm Sierra Morris and this is Chuck and the Chicks. In this video, I'll be talking about, is a rooster right for you? It was really important for me to make this video and I took some extra time with this one because this issue specifically is extremely close to my heart as a backyard chicken owner and a homesteader. This is the issue that I was the most wrong about when it comes to backyard chickens. I was extremely ignorant prior to owning my own roosters about their demeanor, about them as an animal, about their needs, and I believe the stereotype, like so many people do, that roosters are mean. Roosters are not mean. They are an incredible male livestock animal with wonderful talents and specific duties in your flock and on your homestead. If their needs aren't met, it can create a dangerous situation. I feel much like pit bulls have been negatively stereotyped, and we are learning through all of the wonderful videos and families sharing pictures of their dogs being an integral, wonderful member of their family, that our presumptions about that dog breed are incorrect. I think a very similar thing has happened with roosters, that uneducated or inexperienced, well-meaning owners without the specific resources they needed to meet the needs of that animal create dangerous situations. Roosters, if their needs are being met, are incredible members of your flock, and I can't wait to talk more about it. I would just ask, as you're listening to this video, to do so with an open heart and an open mind, regardless of your experience or lack of experience with roosters. I think it's important when you're working with any animal on your homestead or your backyard farm or whatever your specific situation is, to ask yourself, if you're having a difficult time with that animal, what things about the environment or what things am I doing that might be contributing to this animal's negative behavior? Again, animals don't act out of malice. They have a set of instincts, and it's like their playbook. So they only have so many moves they can make in response to stress or lack of resources or things that they don't understand. A lot of times, aggression is masking a fear response, or again, in the case of roosters, they're simply trying to carry out their duty of protecting the flock, not realizing they're protecting the flock from you, because they accidentally perceive you as a threat. I just ask you to look at your own practices after listening to this video and see if you're doing everything you can to support your rooster, or if you're thinking about adopting one in the future, if this sounds like it would be a good situation for you. With proper preparation and education, a rooster can make a fantastic addition to your backyard flock. In addition to protecting your hens, a rooster can service your hen to provide you with fertilized eggs. Roosters have beautiful plumage, and with extra time and training, they can make excellent companion animals. Roosters are a male, intact livestock animal with strong instincts and urges that dictate their behavior. Roosters don't act out of malice or meanness, but instead they respond out of instincts, that limited playbook they have, to situations they consider threatening to their flock. If a rooster isn't given the circumstances he needs to succeed, this can result in injury to him, to you, to your hens. It's just a bad situation. Roosters are often mislabeled as aggressive or mean by individuals who didn't properly research their care needs. Nature and nurture will both play a role in whether or not your rooster is a productive and happy member of your flock. Breed characteristics, like they do in so many other aspects of backyard poultry keeping, will play a role in the demeanor of your rooster. I think a lot of the negative experiences possibly that people have experienced with roosters in their backyard flocks is they didn't properly research the breed prior to bringing the rooster home. It's at least a factor. Game breeds are considered among the more aggressive breeds, as their aggressive behaviors have been intentionally heightened by human breeding. These breeds wouldn't be a good fit for a backyard setting. Rooster breeds that are known for being friendly and docile are breeds like the Silkie, the Plymouth Rock, the Orpington, Faverolles, the Sussex, Jersey Giants, Cochins, the Polish Rooster, and others too. Do some research before you decide what breed of rooster would be a good match for your flock. Breed isn't the only consideration you should think about before adopting a rooster. First and foremost, you should make sure you can legally have one in your area. While many areas are now receptive to backyard chickens, several still have laws prohibiting owning a rooster. Another thing to think about, Roosters are loud. It is a total myth that they only crow in the morning. Roosters will crow in the morning, but they will also crow throughout the day for different reasons. In the act of mating, it's possible when interacting with your hens for your rooster to do physical damage to them, especially if there is a significant size difference or if your flock isn't large enough to support a rooster's normal level of activity. Roosters are aggressive by design, as their main two objectives, remember that playbook I talked about, these are their two moves, to protect their flock and to service their hens. Roosters can interpret the chaotic movements and loud noises of small children and other pets as an attack on their flock, and they will respond to it accordingly. Adopting a rooster is a commitment to his care and his training needs, especially if you keep your flock in such a way that you intend to interact with them in a small area on a regular basis. You don't need a rooster to enjoy fresh eggs from your backyard flock. Your hens will lay without a rooster, your eggs just won't be fertile. Having had roosters for several years now, these are the following situations that I don't think would be a good match for a rooster. First and foremost, if you legally can't own them in your area. Roosters are loud. It's virtually impossible to conceal their presence, and it's just a matter of time until one of your neighbors becomes irritated with the crowing and reports you to the authorities. If you have a small flock with less than 6 hens, 6 hens is considered the bare minimum for one rooster. If you have a small or confined space, or if you're already struggling with space issues with your flock, a rooster is only going to exacerbate that situation. So if you're already struggling to provide enough space for your flock, a rooster is just going to make a bad problem worse. If you have small children. And lastly, if you're hesitant or uncertain for any reason whatsoever about adopting a rooster, just wait. Wait and research first and adopt when you decide it's a good match for you and your flock. It is super easy to adopt a rooster. It is so much harder to rehome one. Your rooster's natural behaviors and instincts include crowing, physical aggression, and servicing hens. These are the 3 things he wakes up ready to do every morning. Make some noise, start a Donnybrook, and find some ladies. We all have a friend like that, right? These behaviors serve a role just as they did for their wild descendant counterparts. Now, as domesticated livestock animals, these instincts still exist, and they've been enhanced by humankind in many ways to serve our purposes. These instincts are part of your rooster, and if they're not channeled correctly or in a positive way, the results can be disastrous. It is a total myth that roosters only crow at sunrise. False. Roosters crow throughout the day and for a variety of reasons, including alerting the flock to predators, declaring their territory, and other reasons too. In my flock, I've noticed my roosters tend to crow at dawn, midday, and at dusk. If your rooster is crowing at night, it's a problem. There's an issue. The more unhappy a rooster is, the more often he will crow. Some breeds and individual roosters will be more vigilant than others. Excessive crowing can be an indicator of stress, inadequate space, unaddressed predator pressure, or perpetual disturbances such as loud noises or lights that interrupt your chickens while they're sleeping and wake them up while they're trying to sleep in their coop at night. Make sure your coop is located in a quiet, well-insulated place. If you're in an urban environment, you can use things like stone walls or shrubbery to provide some sound dampening if you're keeping chickens in a developed area. Peacefulness is a really important aspect of your coop. If your rooster is getting woken up at night, that is definitely a form of stress that needs to be addressed. Ensure your coop is predator-proof and regularly check your chicken infrastructure for signs of predator pressure. A rooster needs, at minimum, 6 hens, but preferably 7 for one rooster. And one rooster can reliably service up to 10 hens, meaning that the vast majority of eggs produced in that flock will be fertile. Chicken mating, if you haven't seen it before, is alarming. I'll be straight with you guys, the first time I saw it, I thought he was killing her. Like, oh my gosh! No, it just looks awful every time. It's okay. When a rooster mounts a hen to service her, he can also, in the act of mating, pull feathers from her back or from behind her head. Some feather loss is normal in the act of servicing hens. If the damage is excessive, or if you're noticing wounds, blood, or injuries to your hens, that can be an indicator of an imbalance. This can be the result of an imbalanced flock, meaning that you don't have enough hens for your rooster, or if the rooster is a bad match for your flock, like if there's a significant size difference. Roosters, since they're the male animal of that species, they're going to be by nature larger than hens, but if the size difference is too extreme, This can result in unintended injuries like leg injuries or excessive feather loss. Roosters will also have a favorite hen. Even in a balanced flock, there will likely be one hen who gets a disproportionate amount of rooster attention. You can use items like a hen saddle if that's appropriate for your situation. If you use a hen saddle, you'll need to check it daily to ensure the saddle hasn't slipped out of place and remove it regularly to clean it. There are varying schools of thought on whether or not hen saddles are a useful tool, so I'll leave you to do your own research about that particular subject, but hen saddles, like many other preventative measures, it's just a temporary solution. A hen saddle will basically buy you time to fix the overall issue. Some roosters, due to poor genetics, experiences, or breeding, just simply won't be a good match for your flock. If your hens, even after several weeks of acclimation, seem terrified, and you're noticing an excessive amount of injuries, it's possible for a variety of reasons that that particular rooster just isn't a good match for your flock, and you should consider rehoming them. Roosters have sharp protrusions on their legs called spurs. These spurs are meant to defend their flock from predators, but they can accidentally harm your hens and the rooster themselves. Rooster spurs can be trimmed and kept dull, similar to dog nails. Don't trim a rooster spur too small because then you will cut the quick, which can result in bleeding and pain, and in extreme cases even the death of the animal. Properly research trimming rooster spurs and obtain the appropriate equipment prior to attempting this. And whether or not it's necessary to trim the rooster spurs should be analyzed on a case-by-case basis. I have some roosters in my flock that I really have to stay on top of it so they don't hurt themselves or my hens, and some roosters that their spurs just magically seem to stay short and dull and I don't have to worry about it. So analyze it on a case-by-case basis and do research about equipment and the appropriate frequency prior to attempting this. Roosters will attack for a variety of reasons. Understand they are always down for a Donnybrook. Rival roosters and predators are the main reasons. As a chicken owner, your normal movements can also be perceived as a threat. Entering the chicken area, which is their territory, handling or especially picking up hens, or moving through their space quickly without intention are all things that your rooster might perceive as a danger. Other things that can trigger rooster aggression are physically towering over them, loud noises, or changes to their environment. The more stressed and unhappy a rooster is, the more aggressively they will behave. You can help condition your rooster to a wide range of experiences and stimuli by handling them often from a very young age. You can also set your rooster up for success by creating space for his natural behaviors and meeting those basic needs. There are suggested techniques out there to deter aggression in roosters, but things like physically dominating them or striking your rooster are not just ineffective, and in fact, along with being cruel, more often than not will result in an increasingly aggressive rooster. He thinks you're a threat, and then you just proved that you were. You can't train a rooster like any other animal, and you can't harm them into submission. You can, however, create circumstances conducive to their success and learn to respect their natural behaviors for a better experience for everyone involved. Roosters will present physical signs with their body language that they're preparing to attack something. Their heckles, those feathers on their neck, will raise, and they will focus intensely before charging and attempting to peck or flog, which is their defensive kick attack, which includes the use of their spurs. If you can observe these signs, you will be able to spot when your rooster is beginning to act aggressively and avoid it. Rooster behavior is also impacted by the seasons. In the springtime, roosters will vie for flock dominance and the right to mate with the hens. Oh, me and Chuck have had some dark springs in the past, but we're better now. But their demeanor does change seasonally. A normally docile rooster might act abnormally aggressive in the springtime due to the natural fluctuation of his hormones and in accordance with natural chicken mating behavior. Not all rooster pecking is intended to be aggressive. Like hens, roosters will also sometimes peck something to explore it. There are things you can do to prevent an aggressive encounter with your rooster while maintaining your chicken area. Firstly, if you keep your flock in containment and you don't interact with them as pets, you can simply maintain your chicken area after your flock has roosted for the night and your chickens are asleep. Problem solved. You can also isolate your rooster in the coop while maintaining your chicken area and release him once you're finished your chores and you no longer need to be in the spaces he considers his territory. Always wear appropriate clothing when doing livestock chores, which includes sturdy, high boots and long pants that cover your legs. You can also carry a bucket or a basket to place between you and the rooster when completing tasks to redirect his aggression should it happen towards the object instead of you. You can decrease the chances of a negative encounter with your rooster by remaining calm and moving slowly when you're in your chicken areas. Don't pick up or handle your hens in front of your rooster, as this is similar to predator activities such as a hawk picking them up. He doesn't know the difference. He just sees one of his girlfriends get raised up off the ground by something and he thinks, "I'll save you, milady," and then it just goes south from there. Don't tower over your rooster or forcefully move him, as relocating him resembles sparring behavior and it's likely to trigger aggression. "You can't tell me what to do. I'll stand where I want to." I have also noticed in our backyard flock, my roosters seem more energetic and defensive of their areas in the morning. By simply moving my chore and maintenance routine to later in the day, I have positively changed all of our interactions for the better. You can set your rooster up for success by doing things like the following. Ensure your rooster has adequate space. Overcrowding causes a host and exacerbates many negative health and behavior issues, including aggression in roosters. Ensure your flock has adequate food and water. Being hungry or being thirsty causes stress in chickens. Clean and maintain your chicken area in a timely manner. Unsanitary conditions, just like overcrowding, cause and exacerbate a lot of negative health and behavioral conditions. Reduce stress by providing predator-proof housing. If your rooster feels the need to be constantly vigilant to protect his flock from predators, he will naturally and increasingly become more aggressive. Have adequate rooster to hen ratio. 1 rooster to 6, but up to 10 hens. Only have 1 rooster, which you guys know I don't, but just if you can, if that's the ideal for your situation, you can pull that off, fantastic. Just having 1 is best case scenario. Keeping your rooster's spurs trimmed if that's necessary. Adopting a docile breed of rooster, pick the friendly guys. Or adopting a cockerel and handling him often, raising him alongside your flock. Or adopting an older rooster that's at least 2 years old, because after they're older, their aggression diminishes. But with their aggression diminishing, so does their fertility, so there's a little bit of a trade-off there. Don't expose your rooster to young children or pets unless he's used to their presence. Roosters can eat the same food as your hens. They can eat layer feed as well with your flock. However, they don't require the calcium amounts that are in layer feed. If you're keeping just roosters, like for example in a bachelor pad run and coop style setup, a maintenance style feed or an all flock feed would be a good fit for them. Roosters require grit just like hens do to properly digest their food. It is possible to keep multiple roosters in a bachelor pad removed from hens. Since I haven't enacted this, I will just refer you to the topic for research in depth if that's something that you're interested in, but it is a possible arrangement you can make for your excess roosters. Other options include responsibly rehoming or culling unwanted roosters. I encourage you to attempt other mitigation options first. Please do not attempt to cull or process an animal without having conducted proper research about ethical and humane practices and obtain the proper equipment first. When I have visitors with young children who come to our homestead, I simply keep my chickens and my roosters inside their infrastructure. It's that simple. I don't even invite the possibility of an accident between a friend's child and one of my livestock animals. Even well-trained and hand-tamed roosters can behave unpredictably around unfamiliar children and animals, so I just eliminate that risk entirely and just keep them away from each other. Hand-taming a rooster takes a significant amount of time and dedication, but it absolutely can be done. Individual breed temperaments and results are going to vary. Like training any animal, some roosters are going to be more responsive to training than others. My hand-taming regimen for my flock is that I adopted all of my roosters as cockerels and handled them daily their entire lives. I intentionally acclimated all of my roosters to being touched and handled in a variety of ways because I knew that we would be living very closely in a small backyard on our micro homestead. We were all going to be bebopping around the same space, so it was very important to prioritize their friendliness and have them have a docile demeanor. I prioritize this demeanor over other qualities because this was a priority for my specific situation, my flock, and my family. Other people have been successful redirecting rooster aggression by training other behaviors like jumping through hoops or performing spins for treats. They're very smart. You can teach them to do tricks and put that energy towards something positive. I prioritize their friendliness above other qualities because I have developed my flock around that specific priority. We needed to be able to be in close proximity and nobody hurt anybody. My roosters are still very much fertile and have produced fertile eggs, and my roosters are still very effective flock protectors even though they're hand-tamed and very friendly. In this part of the video, I'm going to show you some unedited footage of Chuck and Paul, two of my roosters here on the homestead. They both received the same training regimen. It resulted in a different demeanor because they're both different roosters and different breeds, but I just want to show you what's possible with daily love, training, patience, and dedication. I also want to be careful to present my results with the caveat that this is unique to my particular roosters, my situation. I recognize that I had a privilege, that I had access and time to spend with these animals the way that I did. I am in no way guaranteeing that every handled, hand-tamed rooster is going to turn out as fabulous as Chuck or as Paul, but I just want to open your minds up to the possibilities of what love and patience and time can do for an animal. Okay, buddy, are you ready? You ready, Freddy? Alright, let's show him. Touch your comb. That's a good boy. Touch your face. That's a good boy. I'm going to touch your beak. That's a good boy. I'm going to touch your wattles. That's a good boy. I'm going to do feet and spurs, okay, buddy? Feet. Oh, it tickle. It tickle. Feet, spurs. That's a good boy. Yes, you are a good boy. Bestest boy. I love you, buddy. Oh, I want to show everybody you're a good boy too, Bubby. Hi. Is it okay if I pet you? Mommy's hand? See? Okay. Good boy. That's a good boy. Yes, you are. Good Roo-Roo. Good Roo-Roo. As you guys know by now, I have multiple roosters. And I think I've been successful with this particular arrangement because my roosters have adequate mates. I provide safe and healthy conditions for my flock. They are spoiled backyard babies. And also my bantam flock and my standard size flock really operate like two distinct separate flock groups. I intentionally have not filled our space to capacity to allow for extra space for everybody, to allow members of the flock to avoid each other when they need to. And I am actively hands-on on a daily basis with all of my chickens, and I've actively prioritized training them for friendliness and handleability. I have intentionally also built my flock with breeds that are known to be friendly. I hope this video got you thinking about roosters in a different light. I'm here to try and improve the lives of new homesteaders and new backyard chicken owners. If I've improved the life of one person, or I have saved one rooster from getting culled unnecessarily because their owner can re-examine their behaviors and their strategy, and they can learn to coexist peacefully, then all the time and hours that I spend making these videos was totally worth it. I'm here to help you guys, and I hope I'm doing that. I hope this was a good starting point for your research regarding whether or not a rooster is right for your flock and for your particular situation. If you made it all the way to this point in the video, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. We would love to have you as part of our flock. Lots of love from our coop to yours. See you next time.